Okay, welcome to the monthly recap webinar for November. The monthly recap webinar for November, where we're going to cover a lot of the new features that we recently released and some of the new features that are coming up next. Let's give everyone a minute to join. Looks like we still have people joining the room. But before we get started, drop in the chat. Where are you calling in from? Washington, Columbus, Florida, upstate New York, Los Angeles. Florida, I'm jealous. I bet the weather's better there. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if we got anyone. Oh, we do have someone in Georgia. It's starting to warm up, I think, a little bit, but it's been pretty cold lately. Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Man, we got people from everywhere. California. Okay, Canada. Okay. So it looks like we got about 70 people in the room now. Let's go ahead and start the webinar. So as I mentioned, we do these webinars every single month. And the point of this webinar is mainly to recap a lot of the new features released so you guys can understand how they can benefit your firm. But also, it's a great time for us to get some feedback from you guys on, did we build it right? How can we build it better? So be sure to drop in feedback, ask questions as I run through a lot of these features that we just released, as well as talk about some of the new features that are coming next. So let's get started. So first, I want to cover some quality of life improvements we made to the app. So we call quality of life improvements little small things that we change to make the usability of the app better. So maybe it's less clicks. Maybe it's just it's more efficient for your firm, or just it makes it more easy for you guys to use. So let's start off with some of the changes we made to the email integration based off some feedback from some of our power users. Pull this up. Share my screen. Okay, perfect. So first, I want to talk about some of the changes we made to the email. So one of the first things you guys have probably already noticed is now on the inbox and even the email tab here, you'll see a little red icon that has a number in it. Before, it was just a red dot, right? That indicated there are unread emails. But now what it's going to do is actually going to indicate the number of unread emails in your inbox. So you can actually see the number versus just a red dot and have a little bit more visibility in how many new emails you have. The thing to note is that this is focused on the client-related emails. So it doesn't include other emails other emails. It's just how many unread client emails that you have in your inbox. And if you view an email, it's going to change that number. So that's just a small little update we made based on some feedback from our users to give you guys a little bit more visibility into the inbox. Another change was now when you compose an email and you have an email signature, there's more spacing here. So what we saw was, like, let's say, you tab through here, this would be all the way to the top and it would be here. And you'd actually have to hit enter a few times and go up. And when you're writing a lot of emails, having to do that with every single new email that you write or every new response that you have to an email can add up time over time. So this just basically is better spacing for when you're writing emails inside Financial Sense. So that was another small improvement that we made. Okay. Also is the ability to copy email contacts. So let's go to this email here. Before, when you would look at the recipients, like from to CC emails, if you tried it, you'd have to manually select to try to copy. And when you did that, it would actually collapse. So it's very difficult for you to copy email contacts from emails. But now when you hover over the email, you'll see this copy email icon. That makes it easy to copy that email address and paste it somewhere else. And then lastly, for the emails, one other thing was this filter by status. So now you can filter your inbox by unread emails, read emails, or all. So just some added filters to the inbox. We are going to be releasing a lot of other email improvements. So we're going to be making the search function stronger. So right now, you can search your emails, the body, and the headline. But we're going to have added some improvements to the front for search functionality, so it makes it easier to find emails in the FC inbox. So it looks like we have a question. For email signatures, what if you have multiple emails? Can you select which email signature are used for each email? Great question. So inside Financial Sense, you can integrate multiple email addresses, right? So I have one here, but if I wanted to, I could have 3 or 4 emails, maybe even more. And the benefit of this is a lot of times your clients will email your work email, or maybe you have 2 different work emails or more, or maybe you also have your personal email. Clients will email you to your work, to your personal, and it's really hard to go from inbox to inbox to inbox to make sure you're not missing anything and you're staying on top of client communication. So you can actually integrate all those emails in one place and have an aggregate view of all your emails in this view. So you only have one inbox where you manage all your email inboxes from. Now, if you have multiple email inboxes, you can have a signature for each email. So when you click edit signature up here, so I have my one signature, right? If I had multiple emails, they would all be listed here. And then I could click on this, select that other email and create a different email signature for each individual email. And then when you're responding to an email, you would actually be able to select which email you're responding from and it would update the signature accordingly. So yes, you would have that functionality to have a different signature for each email that's integrated with Financial Sense on your account. Okay. Let's see. Looks like there's some more questions in the chat. Is there an option for Microsoft shared accounts yet? There's not an option for Microsoft shared accounts yet, Jenny. Arlie, we do not have a way to enter like a weekly timesheet spreadsheet where it's like spreadsheet format. Right now, still the only way to enter time entries is through manually or the timer. Okay, so let's go on to some of the other ease of use improvements. So one big thing, which was a small thing, but this was probably one of the most requested things that we saw in our Facebook group and from a lot of users, is when you are in a client's profile, and let's say you click on work from the client's profile, you're viewing the work and you hit this back button here. What was happening, it was taking everyone to the actual project view workflow dashboard, even though they came from the client profile. Now it's smart enough to know where you came from. So as I showed you, I came from the client profile. If I hit this back button, it will take me back to the client profile now instead of the workflow view. So let me show you both examples, right? So if I'm viewing my work from here, I click into it. When I click this back arrow, it takes me back to this view. Or if I'm on like a different, well, I don't have multiple pages, but if I had multiple pages, right? So click in, back to the project view. But if I was in the client's profile and I click the work from here and I click that same back arrow, it takes me back to the client profile. So it's a small thing, but we found this was a huge friction point for a lot of our users. It created a lot of extra clicks. So now it's smart enough to know where you're coming from, and it'll make your usability process a lot more seamless. One other thing I wanted to mention, which I don't know if I've actually talked about this, but now I know we talked about adding infinity scroll here. We don't have that yet, but we have increased the amount of projects you can display on your dashboard. So if you want to display more projects on this dashboard so you don't have so many pages, you can now display up to 100 projects. To do that, if you click this gear icon, you'll have the option up here to have projects per page. So I think 50 is the default, but you can go all the way up to 100 per page to view more projects in that single view and give you more visibility overall. Let's say we got some questions or some praise. Sarah, so how to integrate with SmartVault? I would reach out to our customer support team. They can show you how to, they'll have to turn that on for you right now, but they can show you how to do the integration. Yeah, just a lot of love for that feature. It was a small little thing, but it's makes a huge difference. Um, okay. So next, I want to talk about uh two really small things we did based off the feedback as well. So this is another quality of life improvement. Now your client groups are sorted in alphabetical order. A lot of people had really long lists, and it was very difficult to find certain client groups because they were just in a random order. But now it's alphabetically organized, so they're easier to find the groups that you need to find. Also, we did this in the client vault. So if you use the client vault and you have a lot of different passwords or usernames stored here, it's now in alphabetical order, so they're also easier to find. But you also do have the search functionality as well if you wanted to use that here. Ryan, we just did hire a front-end developer who's going to help us work on the Infinity Scroll. I don't have any specific timeline, but it is top of our priority as it is the most voted feature on the roadmap. But it takes a lot of work on the back and front end to optimize that. The reason it is taking so long is because if we do Infinity Scroll, we got to be careful, given we have thousands of firms, thousands and thousands of users, and millions of projects in our system. If we had Infinity Scroll, we just make sure it doesn't slow down the system for you guys. So that's what we're going to be working on next with our new front end developer. So hopefully soon. I don't have a timeline though, but it should be next year. Um, Arlie, I don't understand your question. If you could provide some more details, I can try to answer that for you on the search function. So one other thing I wanted to ask or share with you guys is something we're working on. So one thing we found with client requests, right? One of our most popular features is client tasks. And what this does is this allows you to automate client data collection. So you can create a request list for your client, send it to the client, and then it'll automatically follow up with them and remind them to get the work done. And they can securely upload that information, those documents, inside of our passwordless portal that's easy to use. So it makes it easier to get documents and responses from clients, and it makes it faster. And it saves you a bunch of time because we know you guys spend a lot of time doing this. So we want to change the design a little bit from your end, because what we have found, a lot of people don't realize the full functionality of this, that you can have the documents uploaded it to Financial Sense, or you can have it uploaded to your document management system, or you could send them documents, not just request documents, right, for them to review, or you could just ask a question. So we're looking at changing the design a little bit to make that more well known. And I want to show you guys what it looks like. So one is the design overall is just going to change, just so the tasks are broken out individually instead of all grouped together. So you can have better differentiation between the different request items. But when you click add client tasks, now it's going to display all the actions you can do. You can request documents, send documents, ask a question, or even request a signature. So like, for example, if we clicked request documents, then it's going to say you can have it uploaded to Financial Sense by default or another system. So here you can customize what the button says, and you can paste in the shareable link to your document management system where you want them to upload it. Or send documents, upload the file that you want to send them, right? Ask a question. What is the question you want to ask? And then obviously request a signature. So you can request a signature here. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about this new design. It does add an extra click, but I feel like it makes it more intuitive for your firm and your users to understand the full capability. And as we add more functionality, we can have it all listed out here. Maybe it's like fill out a form in the future, right? Or request other types of information. Okay, I'm glad you guys like it. I thought it was a great idea. I think it's going to make it more intuitive and easy to use. Let's see. I'm going to go back to your question, Arlie. I don't know about that early. I'll have to talk with the team about that. I think you have to type in at least a few letters for the search to trigger. Perfect. Okay, so everyone likes the design. That's good to know. Share that with the team. So let's talk about one of the newest updates. This one's really exciting. Is KBA and password signature. So now that we're talking about signatures, I don't have contacts for this client. That's fine. Let me go into. So let's say now you request signature. So we recently, 2 months ago, released Adobe Sign integration. So if you have Adobe Sign, you can now integrate with Financial Sense to request documents, request e-signatures from our system. And what that does is when you send the request and they sign it, the copy will automatically be saved here. And it just keeps everything in the app and creates a more seamless experience. So what we also added, it was just regular signatures when we first released it, but now you have the ability to do KBA signatures and password protected signatures. So if I hit request here, and you'll see the options. You can do the standard where they just get an email, they just click in and they send the document. You can do KBA, and then you can select the contact and enter the KBA, or you can do password protected, where you can type in your own password, share it with them, and they can use that to sign the documents. So it's just some additional functionality on the e-signature capability, which will be great for upcoming tax season, and a lot more sensitive documents. This has to be done through Adobe Sign integration. So you have to have an Adobe Sign account, but you can create one, and then just integrate it with Financial Sense. And this is on the team plan, all this functionality. So it will save within the project it was sent in. That is correct, Linda. I have to double check to see if it's saved on the client profile. It is saved on the client profile in the files section. If you click client task files and find that document, it should be saved there automatically as well on the client profile. Signatures. So this is a really good question, going back to the client request feature. So what we added about, I think this was about 3 or 4 months ago, was the ability, yes, you can have a link that your clients can bookmark, or a link that you can put in your email signature that your clients can click to upload documents. So when we first created client requests, they would have to activate it from here. They would have to access the portal from the actual request, which was great because they get an email request, it reminds them. But the painful part was if clients needed to upload it later, they'd have to go back and find that email, right? Which you want to make it as easy as possible for the client. But now they don't have to do that, right? We actually have a portal link that a client can bookmark, that you can put in your email signature, that the clients can use whenever they want to access the portal on demand. And that link can be found in Financial Sense. So if you go to the clients, and this is the same for every client, you should see share client portal link, right? And then now your client, you can save this, you can put it in your bookmark. This is for all clients, right? You can put it in your email signature, you can tell them to bookmark it, you can put it in a welcome email, and they can always access the portal on demand as they need to. They don't have to go back and find the email reminders or email requests. So yes, you do have that ability. What's the new function of client task? Let's see. Yeah, so Lori, that functionality is not available yet. You can still do all that functionality. You can send documents, request documents, ask a question. All that's possible, but we're just making it designed differently, so it's easier to realize that you can do all that functionality. But I mean, we're working on the design now. It should be available hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So how did I get to the client vault list earlier? If you go to the client profile and you click client vault, This is where you can securely store passwords, security questions, and other sensitive information in our encrypted vault. Okay, another question. Are we able to exchange documents outside of client tasks? Sometimes we just have one-off situations where we don't need to create a project. Vance, I'm going to talk about that in one of the future updates. That's coming this month. Okay. Yes, if you have Adobe Sign or Pro or Acrobat, it should all work with our integration. Okay. So let's get into one of the next recent updates. So this was a big one, and this also ties into the client portal. Now you can create a custom branded client portal if you're on the scale plan. So what that means is you can change the link to you can customize like the portal URL. You can customize the color of the buttons, the links, and you can add your firm logo. So you can already type out the firm name, but you can actually put the actual pictured logo in there. So if you have the scale plan and you go to settings, company, and scroll down. So if you upload your logo here in company information and you scroll down, you can change the color of the portal, like buttons and links. And you can change the URL. So instead of, it would be, you can have like, you know, I have ABC company here, but you could put like your firm name. So Bookkeeping Pro. I don't know what your URL is, but you could put your company URL in here. And so you can customize the URL destination. So, and what that does is if we go here, so now I'm in my portal. This used to all be green, right? So now it's purple. So this button is purple. The link URL is purple. Your logo is now displayed here, and the company URL is here. So like if I change this, like, so let me just do firm name. Let's say I want to change the color to red. Let me update it. I wonder if this would actually direct. So I'm going to go to, so now, well, I have to actually have the URL. So now if I go to the new URL, you can see that it changed. Now it's all in red. And then the URL is firm name, and I have my logo is already here. And this also changes it inside the portal. So when your clients are viewing the request, all the buttons will be red, all the links will be red, but now you can really customize it to a firm branded portal. Also, when you have this functionality in the scale plan and you have your logo, this also happens on like the request. So instead of it just saying your firm name, you can actually have your firm logo here. Here, it's just a white background because it's a screenshot, but if it was a transparent logo, it would look a lot better. So that's really exciting. That came out this month as well. Arlie, yes, that's correct. Since you're on the team plan, the basic plan, you wouldn't have the ability to customize the firm portal. Okay, questions. Okay. Let's go next into, okay, so those were all, well, actually there's one more. There's one more thing we added, Smart Vault. So if you have a Smart Vault integration, which if you do use Smart Vault, we integrate with Smart Vault. It's not publicly displayed yet. You can reach out to our support team and they can turn that integration on for you just because it's still in beta. But if you do use Smart Vault, one thing that happens now is if you integrate with Smart Vault, you can actually have the documents automatically be uploaded to Smart Vault that get uploaded to our system through client tasks. So in this example, like if we go to this project, right? This client uploaded all these documents to our client request, right? What's going to happen is these documents, so a folder is automatically going to be created in Smart Vault under the client's vault or profile. And it's going to say the folder is going to be labeled Financial Sense. And it's automatically going to save a copy of all these documents inside that folder under the client's profile or vault in Smart Vault. So you'll now have a copy of the documents here and in your document management section in Smart Vault. It happens automatically, so you don't have to spend admin time doing that yourself or someone on your team doing that. So it just gives you a copy of your documents in your other document management system. Now, when we integrate with Google Drive, SharePoint, OneDrive, and other document management systems that we are working on right now, we hope to release a lot of those in Q1. It's all, we're going to have the same functionality. So if you have a Google Drive and it's linked to the client's folder, it's going to save all copies of client requests in that folder in Google Drive automatically. So you have backups and you can find them in multiple locations. Share files on our list as well. I don't have a time frame for that as well. Okay, so that goes into so that's everything we had about that we released in November. Let's talk about what's coming next. We got really exciting. I'm excited to share this design with you. The goals, we plan to release this month, and it's the folder sharing and document management. So Vance, this goes back to your question, right? You asked, what happens if we need a client to upload documents, but it's a random purpose. Like we don't want to create a project and a client request for them to upload those documents. You want a place they can go and upload those documents. So now if they were to, like, let's say, like access their portal, right, from here, and they will see something that looks like this. Can you guys see this design I'm showing you? Okay, perfect. So basically right now, like the request portal, you have the requests, right? So now there's going to be something called documents, and this is coming later this month. And here you'll actually have folders and an archive of documents that your clients can view or upload documents to if they have permission to do so, right? So how this is going to work is basically on your client profile. Go back. Let's say we're in this client's profile, right? It's going to be a full document management system, right? So you have all these folders where you're storing like bookkeeping documents, reports. You'll have the ability to share this folder with the client. They're going to get notified, and it's now going to live on their portal. So going back to that new design, then when they log in, they'll be able to see the request, and they'll be able to see the documents or folders that you shared with them. So in these folders, if you give permission, they can upload documents, and they can view documents. So I'm really excited about that because that's going to solve that problem. And by default, every client will have a folder, I think it's called client uploads, right? That's automatically shared with them. So you don't have to, so every time a client logs in, if it's not request related, they want to share something with you, it's not related to a project, they'll be able to upload documents in there. You can go and access that. But what's great for this is you can also store like tax returns, entity documents, bookkeeping reports. So your client has an archive of all those documents that they may need, and they don't have to ask you for those later. And then with this also is going to come another functionality shortly after, where I know this is very popular and very requested. You don't have to download the documents to view the documents. You can view them in Financial Sense without having to download them. That's going to be coming shortly after this, because that's going to be a core piece about making that full featured document management, folder sharing, and client portal functionality. So it looks like we have some questions. I don't know about Jenny, the bulk download yet. I don't think we've gotten that far in the functionality, but I would imagine that's something we're going to have. Nick, this feature right here, the goal is to release it this month. So I know we have like the first like test next week, and if everything goes well, we should release it the week after that. So mid-December is what I would say. But the goal here is yes, someone said this, we want to create one place for your client, right? they're coming to our portal for the requests. Wouldn't it be great if they could also come to our portal for all the documents that they need and all the reports that you've shared with them in the past? So you don't have to work out of our system in Google Drive. You can have one place for your client, which makes it easier for your clients to use, right? Because they're not having to figure out which portal or which place you have to go to get this. And we're going to add more functionality here, right? The goal is like, maybe we have resources, right? So they can see like calendar links, how to schedule calls with you, other types of resources that you shared with them. Maybe they can see, maybe we have the ability to manage uncategorized transactions out of here, right? So that you can share uncategorized transactions with them and they can upload it and it integrates automatically with QBO and it updates it in the system. Maybe there's chat communication with the client in here. So you can get out an email if that's what you want to do. So the goal is, we've created a single source of truth for your team and the back end of your office. Now, can we do the same on the front end with your client? One portal for your client to have everything that they need, and then one place for your team on the back end, and everything's integrated together. So your team can see all that context, see all that information. Both your team and your clients have a seamless experience and everything that they need at the end of the day. Yeah, and this will be a great functionality for tax season. I'm excited to have this out before tax season. Let's see, there's some questions. Tammy, yes. With a Smart Vault integration, you do not have to download them for them to be saved to the Smart Vault if they uploaded the client request. And for that to work, though, if you already have the Smart Vault integration, you need to go toggle something on. So you go to Settings, Integrations, and you'll want to toggle Copy Client Uploads to Smart Vault. You make sure this is toggled on. If you're just now integrating Smart Vault, that should happen automatically. But if you already had a Smart Vault integration before we push this update the other week, you'll need to toggle that on. Can we restrict access to folders or documents on the client side? Yes, you can. So how it's going to work is on the client's profile where all the documents are stored, and we're actually going to have like a documents tab, so this will be easier to get to. You'll see like an icon that's like share. And when you click it, you can choose which contacts on the client to share with and what level of access to get them. View only. Can they download? Can they upload? So you'll have full control on what documents they see and what permissions they have with those documents. To my knowledge, there is a file size limit for sending and uploading, but it's very rare that anyone ever hits it. Unless you're trying to upload like a 4-hour movie, you should be fine. I don't know the exact number, but you should. I don't think you'll have any problems with the file size limit. Okay, so that's an exciting feature. It's one I'm really excited about. It's really going to help create more of an all-in-one solution and even potentially save you guys some money because you'll be able to potentially eliminate like some DMS subscriptions you're paying for. Oh, okay. So I want to talk about some of the other things that might be coming with the DMS solution, because this is just the start, right? So picture a world where now we have the DMS, you can have folder templates, right? So like maybe for bookkeeping or tax clients, you have a specific folder structure that's templated. Imagine where you can just create a new client and automatically apply that folder structure to all your clients. So you don't have to go in and create, all the different folder structures every year, every month for all your existing clients and new clients. So there's a lot of automations that we're hoping to come with that. Okay, so another big thing that we're working on right now is settings for templates. So right now, with templates, when you create work, so let's create a project, right? You have to go in and pick the due date. You have to go in and choose the type of recurrence. You have to select, the account. It's a lot of extra clicks, right? When you're creating work. And it also opens up the room for error. So someone might make a mistake, set it up wrong. The ability to have default settings for your templates. So maybe for your bookkeeping templates, it's always set to recur monthly. on a certain cadence. And you have like the type of accounting period it would be. And the due date is automatically selected like the 25th of every month or the first Friday of every month, right? So when your clients are creating work, all these settings will already be added in here. So it's just a quick next. So it makes the creation process a lot easier. And what that really opens up the door for us to do, what I'm really excited about it, is automate work creation. So if we have all these settings, not only does it make it more efficient for your team to create work and reduce the risk of mistakes, it allows us to automate that process. So let's say you have an integration with Practice Ignition in Financial Sense. When someone signs the proposal, it automatically creates that client in Financial Sense, and then it automatically creates all the bookkeeping or tax work based off the engagement type in our system. So you don't have to go in and create the client. You don't have to go in and set up the work. It all happens in the background. Or maybe like we add a task automation, right? So maybe when this task is completed, it automatically creates a project based off that task. So maybe if it's like, if you're doing cleanup, right? Once cleanup is completed, it'll create the monthly bookkeeping work automatically. So there's a lot of really cool things we can do now, automating work creation based off triggers once we have that feature. So I'm really excited about that feature because it's going to create a lot of efficiency and automation, but also help make sure work is set up correctly, and prevent mistakes and protect work quality. That looks like you guys like this feature. That's great. Okay. Let's see, there might be some more questions. Okay, perfect. So one other big feature we're working on too is universal search, or the ability to search across the entire platform. So when we talk to our users, there's really two main benefits, like the core problems we solve. And one is visibility. So you guys know where work stands, who's working on what, and are you hitting your deadlines, right? That's what you get from the dashboard. But the other big value add for Financial Sense is the ability to create a single source of truth for your team, to centralize all of your documents, your client information, your client notes, your work in one place. So now not only does your team know what to do and when to do it by, but they also have all the information they need to actually get that work done. They don't have to wonder which app is it in because you're using 10 different apps to store all this information. Or they don't have to tap you on the shoulder and ask you, hey, where can I find this document? It's all on the work, right? All the information, the client communication, the client passwords, contact information, it's all here. So now that all that data lives in our system, we want to make it easier to find. So this is coming in Q1 is our goal, is imagine a search bar up here. So from anywhere in the app, you can just type in the search bar, like client name or project or document, and you can easily search all your documents, your clients, contact information, custom fields, projects, client notes, all that information from one place. So if you want to pull up a client note or a document, you just type it in here, click it, you found it, right? So it just makes all this data that's stored in our system easier to find and accessible for you and your team, keeping you guys more organized, helping your team be more efficient, and find the information that they need to get their work done. So I'm really excited about that feature. Goals for really setting core Q1. It's a really big feature. I think it's going to provide a lot of value and just keep your firm much more organized. Read the detail. We can update the various client passwords. Yeah, so Arlie, I'll show you this real quick. So if you want to add, she's asking about the client vault. So we have the client vault. Everything inside Financial Sense is securely stored, but if you want a deeper level of encryption for like passwords, banking information, security questions, you can store like all your passwords to the apps and security questions here in Financial Sense. So in the client vault on the client, so your team can access it. So adding a new encrypted record is really easy. You just click this, you type in what it's for. So maybe it's for bill.com. You put in the username, you put in the password and the link to the app, right? So that way they can open the app up from inside Financial Sense and they don't have to type that into the search bar. The encrypted custom fields, what people use this for is custom information. Typically, it's security questions. So, what is your mom's, maiden name, right? And then you type in the answer, and you can add another one and another one. And when you save that, which I'm going to show a different example, you can view all that information here. And if it's like this, you can actually launch the app as well. So that's how that system works and how you can store passwords and usernames securely inside Financial Sense for your team. Perfect. Okay. So let's see, there's some more questions. We will have a recording for everyone that joined late, and I'm going to upload it to our YouTube channel today so you can view it. Did anyone have questions about the universal search? It sounds like that's going to be a valuable piece. Okay. So that is everything, right? So we talked a little bit about the features that we released this past month in November. That's going to make everything easier to, that makes like email and some of the other functionality easier to use and just navigating throughout the app. We also talked about KBA and password. So now you have KBA and password e-signatures. Some improvements to Smart Vault to save the documents uploaded to our request, automatically saving copies to Smart Vault. This will also be available with some of the other document management systems like Google Drive, SharePoint that we plan on integrating with. And now how you can custom brand your client portal. And then what's coming next, right? Folder sharing, full featured document management inside Financial Sense and inside the client portal, which the biggest problem that solves is you don't have to create a project and a request to give your client a place to upload documents. You can eliminate Google Drive, SharePoint or some of the other DMS systems potentially if it has the functionality you need. The ability to automate work creation with template settings, that's going to be very powerful. So basically being able to automate work creation when a proposal is signed or when a task is completed in a project or off any other trigger, whether it's Zapier integration. And then universal search. All your data is already in our system, right? We just want to make it easier for you to find. So you can search documents, contacts, information, notes, all within one universal search bar that lives on top of the app. Looks like there might be Wade. So creating projects with Zapier based off of Zaps, that's going to come. We need to finish the default settings with templates first for that to work, because you can't create work off Zapier and not have that detail. It's going to not be meaningful for you. So we're waiting on that to be able to release that. Let's see. Okay, you want to send projects with Zapier. I have to talk with the team on that. If we don't have that with Zapier, there'd probably be the ability to do that with our open API, but I'll have to check with the team. Okay, let me check one last time for questions. Someone's asking just about the ability to access the recording. I will follow up with a recording after this. It will be on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, Financial Sense, you'll be able to find it. But that's everything. I want to thank everyone for joining us this month for the November recap. And I'll see you guys in January for the December recap. Going to be a lot of big features to talk about there. So make sure you make it. Take care, everyone. See ya.